Welcome to VVork. In the previous video, we learned to create custom object groups using performance metrics and supermetrics. In this video, we'll learn to do the same with object groups. Welcome back. In the previous video, we showed you how to create custom object groups based on relationships and metrics. In this video, we're going to create custom object groups based on an object name. The scenario that we're going to be tackling in the demonstration is, what if you wanted to create a custom object group that consists of clusters, but not all the clusters, just the clusters that match a certain string that we'll specify. So let's jump into the lab environment and do so. To create our new custom object group, once again, we're going to go to Environment, Environment Overview, Custom Groups, and we're going to click the Add button. And the first thing we're going to do is give this group a name. I'll call this one Clusters Called Something or Another. Not a great name, but fine for our purposes. I'm going to skip these two fields. Go back 2 videos if you don't know about those fields. I'm going to check this checkbox to make this group be dynamic. And then I'm going to say that this is a group of clusters. So here's Cluster Compute Resource. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is choose object name. Now, with the object name, I can either do an exact match, that's what is means, or a substring match. Is not and not contains does roughly the same things, it just reverses the logic. Previously, I showed you how to use is to do an exact match. This time, let's do contains. So with contains, I'll type a portion of the name of the clusters that I'm looking for. And notice, once again, VRealize Operations has been kind enough to pop up a list of things that match what I've typed so far. But typically, when you're doing a contains type search, you're doing a substring match. So it wouldn't make so much sense to say, I want to match and do a substring match against something so explicit as SA-compute01. That makes sense when you're doing is instead of contains. When you're doing contains, even though there is this helpful list popping up, typically when I do contains, I'm not going to choose something explicit. Instead, I'm just going to type a portion of what I'm looking for. There's my substring, and move on. Don't select something explicit. Speaking of moving on, in previous videos, I've showed you how you can add additional criteria sets or add criteria within a criteria set. Additionally, we've talked about how to include or exclude items from whatever's matching. But let's scroll down and hit our preview button once again to see what our criteria is matching. So right now, when I hit preview, notice that it matches both of these hosts. So, excuse me, these are not hosts, these are clusters. It matches both of our clusters because they both contain the characters SA space something. You may have noticed, by the way, I typed lowercase letters. These are capital, so if you haven't already figured out, the case sensitivity is ignored when we do our pattern matching. That makes it real easy to find the objects that you're looking for by their object name. Join me in the next video where we'll learn how to create custom object groups using properties.